If somebody came up to you and asked you, do you want to be broke? Would you say yeah? No, not in your right mind. So why would you tell yourself that you broke? Because that's all that's happening when you say I'm broke. You're asking to be broke. That's what you're telling the universe or what you're telling divine. Hey, give me more broke. Hey y'all, welcome back to the show. It's me, Lonnie from ilovelonnie.com or Talk Lonnie the podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and my website, ilovelonnie.com. Thank you for being here. Today's episode is going to be about what is self-concept and how can it affect your life or your reality. So self-concept first is basically the view of yourself. What do you think about yourself? What you believe to be true about yourself. And that could be negative or positive. Now that little voice in the back of your head, what is it telling you about yourself? We'll get into what it's telling you about other people in another video, but we'll start from within. So it could be negative or positive. Some examples of a negative self-concept would be like, I can't do it, this is hard, I'm broke, I'm ugly, whatever negative things you could just think of that people say or that you might have said about yourself. All of that would be a negative self-concept. Some examples of some positive self-concepts would be, I'm worthy, I can do it, I can do anything, I'm beautiful, I'm abundant, just anything positive that you would think about yourself. But I am, and it's something positive. Now, we mentioned in the last video to only speak your blessings, and that's from a song, so I'll reference that, a gospel song. But only speak your blessings, only speak what you want, only put out what you want or what you desire to have. Words are spells. Spelling words is power in the tongue. So be careful what you're putting out there. Make sure that it's something that you will want to manifest or something that you want to speak into your existence, because ultimately that's what can happen. Now, how can I say this? Let's say we had two people that one person they both went to a job interview. One person has a negative self-concept. One person has a positive self-concept. And then they wrote whatever it was they was thinking about themselves on a postcard and taped it to their forehead. So you got the person with the negative self-concept and everything that they was thinking about that job or just about themselves with going to that interview. I can't do it. This is hard. Why do I have to work? They want me to learn this. Whatever it is negative that can just pop up, it's all written on the postcard and taped to your forehead. And then you got the person with the positive self-concept. Oh, I'm ready to get this job. I can't wait to start getting paid so I can pay my bills. I'm ready to learn. I love challenges. I know why they call me, because I'm the perfect fit for the job. Whatever positive you could think of, write it on the postcard and tape it to your forehead. These two people walk into the same interview side by side. Who do you think would get the job just based on the postcards? The one with the positive self-concept. I mean, I know that's obvious, but it's also obvious without the postcards. That becomes our reality. So not only do other people see you, how you see yourself, that may sound tricky and it might not even sound believable, because most of the time it's things that we don't even notice. But people treat you how you treat you. And so that's actually a real thing if you pay a little bit more attention just when you interact with people. But alright, but that's a whole nother topic. So we'll just say what you think about yourself can manifest into your 3D. If you think you can't do something, that's going to affect your confidence, your mindset, motivation, everything. And then ultimately you may not end up doing it because all of that aligned with each other, and then you wasn't able to push through as strong and complete whatever task it was because of that mindset that you had. When you ready to go, when you like, oh, I can do this and I'm strong enough to do it, and you pumped up, you got that motivation, most likely you will get it done because that's the mindset that you want. that's just another example. So everything starts with a thought, basically. Not only does it affect your physical, but it affects your 3D as well. So you're supposed to always think positive, not only in general, but just about yourself. Because what you think about yourself is how your actions are going to align. And we mentioned in the last video, frequency. Whatever frequency that you are vibrating on is what divine is going to meet you with. Okay? So make sure you're vibrating on a positive frequency or what you want to be met. So let's say we mentioned only speak your blessings. If somebody came up to you and asked you, do you want to be broke? Would you say yeah? No, not in your right mind. So why would you tell yourself that you broke? Because that's all that's happening when you say I'm broke. You're asking to be broke. That's what you're telling the universe, or what you're telling divine. Hey, give me more broke. It's tricky, and that's gonna be a whole nother video. But what you put out there is gonna be magnified for you. So make sure what you're putting out there is gonna be positive. Don't put out there what you don't want to be magnified. Let's say it like that. Don't put out there what you don't want to be magnified. Where your energy goes, grows. We mentioned that in the last video as well. So where's your energy growing? Going to. Or growing to. Is it going to, oh, I'm broke? Okay. So then that's what's going to magnify that you're broke. Or are you looking around and saying, oh, I have a lot to be grateful for? Because honestly, even if you had $1, you're not broke. You got $1. We'll go into that in another video. But you got so much to be grateful for. Look around and find everything to be grateful for. And what is that going to do? That's going to magnify. Divine is going to give you more things to be grateful for. We'll go into details on that in another video. But right now we're going to start with the thought process. That little voice in the back of your head that's telling you things about yourself when you talk to yourself, because everybody do it. Your higher self is always there in the back, just saying stuff. What is it saying? Is it saying positive stuff or negative stuff? Because that's your starting point. If it's negative, acknowledge that, dang, I be thinking a lot of negative stuff I didn't even realize. And then now we got to work on trying to change it. So every time you think something negative, you got to flip it immediately. So as soon as you say, I can't do it, once you recognize that you said that, immediately, oh, I can do it. I can do it. Or thank you for giving me the strength to do it. I use thank you a lot because I'm speaking it into existence. I'm thanking you for it, which means I already have it. So I'm vibrating on, I already got it. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is I want, I'm thankful for it already. It's already out there. And eventually it's going to manifest itself, basically. So thank you that I'm able to do it. Thank you I can get through. Thank you for giving me the strength to make it through. Whatever it is that you need to do. But be grateful is also a form of gratitude. And then it's also a form of positive self-concept. So whichever method that you want to use, we'll go into other methods in another video. And other methods that I use as well. But start off with loving on yourself. Thinking positive things about yourself. And even if you don't all the way believe it, they say it takes about 90 days to start a habit, right? Or to create a habit. So you might think you can't do something in that moment, right? And yes, you acknowledge that you're thinking negative, but it's not going to be an overnight process. It could be for you. Everybody's different. But it may not be an overnight process for you to just immediately cut off all of your negative thoughts. But I promise you, if you get into a habit of every time you think something, come up with a default thought, positive thought. This worked for me. Like say, if you like the pool, you like beaches or something like that. I use the beach. So, or just think of your favorite spot in your mind, or just a trigger word, a positive trigger word, or whatever it is. Anytime you think of something negative, immediately think of your trigger word, immediately think of your safe place, the beach, the vacation, wherever it is that your immediate thought is, but keep it the same one thought. So anytime you have a negative thought, think that one thing every single time. So every time you have a negative thought, go immediately to the picture or vision of whatever it is that you picked. That's your safe space or your trigger word. That's a positive thing. Once you keep doing that over and over and over again, it's going to become a habit. Your mind is going to start catching yourself immediately. You'll start doing it less immediately. Well, I can say immediately, but over time, you'll start doing it less. So it starts with acknowledging. Then you create a new habit, which is your trigger word, positive trigger word, or your positive safe space, or whatever it is that you pick. That's your new habit. And then you're keeping it consistent so your mind ain't all over the place, or you trying to dig to find something positive when you think something negative. No, that'll be your go-to automatically. And once you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's what creates the habit. So the habit is, anytime you think negative, you go to that safe space. Okay? Eventually, you'll start doing that automatically. Eventually, you'll start having to do it less and less, because the negative thought eventually is going to be coming less and less, because your mind is not working like that no more. Your mind is working differently. It's like, oh, this, we keep going back here to this safe space. This is the safe space, safe space, space. That's where it's going to continue to go to. Then eventually it's just going to be living in. Then eventually it's going to flip. Then when a negative thought it try to come in, it's going to be like, whoa, no, not up in here. So it's going to immediately go out, and you probably ain't even going to have to do nothing, because it's going to work its own self out, because it can't live there, can't thrive in that space that you're in. So I hope that makes sense. We can go into details in another video. I know that was probably details enough, but we'll go into a different way of explaining that in another video. So we'll leave it there. Think positive about yourself, because it becomes your reality. And ultimately, what you think about yourself then kind of affects your perception of the world as well. You know, I think it was Albert Einstein said this. He said, how do you see the world? Somebody said it. I'm sorry if it wasn't Albert Einstein, but somebody said it. How do you view the world? And that's something that I always thought was powerful, because then I used to walk around like, and every now and then I still do, like, we live in a crazy world. Everybody in the world is all these people just, just kind of saying stuff like that in that category. But that's also a reflection of you, because that means you're only seeing the negative in the world, basically. So that means I'm only seeing the negative in the people or the bad things that happen, but I'm not seeing the good stuff, because there's a lot of good things that happen in the world too. And it's both duality. That's another video. But it's up to us to see either the good in things, and that's including people, or to see the negative. But ultimately, it's a reflection of ourselves too at the end of the day. So we'll have to go into details about that later. But the point is, change your self concept. That does change your perception of the world, and both of them become your reality. We'll end on that note. Thank you for watching. You can catch me on ilovelani.com or Talk Lani the podcast, which once again is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. See you in the next video.